What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals. We filmed the podcast. Happy to be back. And then my entire system of life fell apart in terms of tech, and I have not been able to edit or post. The Creed video right now you're seeing is the most recent thing now that everything is back to normal. I've got to get footage off an old computer. Gonna take a beat, so the podcast is gonna be a minute, which is a bummer. Um, but here we are for Creed.
Creed 3.
It's true. Let's get into it here. Non-spoiler review, Creed 3. Kyle, what were your positives of Creed 3? Oh, I guess before we do that, thank you, Movie Meal patrons, Kimberly and Karen. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Go get some merch. I'm wearing some right now. Incredible. Kyle, what were your positives of Creed 3?
I'll start off with this. Michael B. Jordan is in the director's chair as well as returning to the role of Adonis Creed. And for his first time directing, I thought he did a very impressive job. It felt like it was in the spirit of his own voice as someone wanting to tell a story, but at the same time, it also still felt like it was a part of Creed 1 and Creed 2 and didn't feel like a massive departure from those two entries. And I really liked where the story took us. I liked the direction that it took with him being in post-retirement, but then a childhood friend of his named Damien comes back into play, played by Jonathan Majors. And I thought that he directed the whole cast very well, but also just the two of them having terrific chemistry between each other and really making the tension of these childhood friends turned enemies to be the most interesting part of the movie for sure. And so I thought between making that relationship so well between the two of them, as well as just really making their performances as well as they were, on top of terrific action sequences from all of the boxing, it still looked very well in terms of just traditional boxing scenes out of movies, such as similar to Creed 1 and Creed 2, but also it did feel like he gave it another level to where he kind of makes some of the action a bit more heightened in reality. And I think Alex is definitely going to be talking about that more because I know he took a lot of inspiration from anime when it comes to those boxing scenes. But for me, not being well versed in anime, I thought that it was a really great touch that made the movie stand out a little bit more compared to the other two, but still felt like it was part of a really good trilogy that we ended up having when it comes to these Creed movies. So the biggest praise I can give it was the direction from Michael B. Jordan, as well as the entire cast. And overall, I just really appreciated where the story took us in Michael B. Jordan's voice.
Yeah, I loved Creed 3. Let me know if I'm too loud for you. New system trying to is this better?
Try it again.
Hello, Creed.
Not loud, but you're still staticky.
Staticky?
Yeah.
Oops. How about now?
That's still pretty bad.
Is it worse?
About the same.
Oh, huh. How about now?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Much better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, good. No.
Okay.
Loved the heck out of Creed 3. I thought Creed 3 was phenomenal. I think Michael B. Jordan's direction, where I could put this in the negatives, I didn't think it was the best. I think if you look at just a directing standpoint, obviously it would be I think the bottom of the three movies. But he did a bang up job for his first movie. I was sitting there like, wow, I'm pretty impressed with how well he's doing. There were a couple shots here and there that I think you could tell is a little bit more first time director. But his inspiration is all over it. I had seen so many interviews where people were like, anime. And so I was going into the movie being like, is it really this inspired by anime? Or people just like clinging on to what they need? It is that inspired by anime. The entire thread that they're doing, he pulls straight from Naruto. I mean, it's right there. Come on. I mean, he's pulling everything out of his passions in this movie, and I love him for that, because some of the fight scenes at the very beginning, I was very interested in the way we were going to go with the fight scenes, because he does a couple things that are different. He adds some style choices and some shots that were different for Creed. And at first I was like, am I going to like this? Like, whatever. And then the scenes keep happening. And I was like, man, he does a really great job. He utilizes everything very effectively. The anime tropes are phenomenal. To some of the training montages have him in there, to the final fight, to there's a scene at the end that's just brilliant. That is literally just he just watched the episode of Naruto and said, I got to put this in my movie. He changed it up, put his spin on it, added a style, bring it into live action, and it was phenomenal. I loved every second of it. This is the first time ever I saw a movie and I was the only person in the actual theater. It was me and who I was with, no one
Ooh,
else for Creed. And we went on in the afternoon on a Saturday. So,
nice.
um, we first time ever. It was great. I would giggle anytime an anime moment happened, and my buddy would, after the movie was like, man, you would laugh at these times. I assumed you just picked up on something. I didn't know what was going down. He's like,
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
was an intense fight and you're laughing. And I was like, yeah, but I'm laughing of pure joy. There's a scene that's going around the internet right now too that has been, I don't know if it was in a trailer or somebody just took a video and has leaked it, but it's just from anime. So their punches that are literally, he just recreated it to the point where it was so detailed. The way the spit was flying out was similar.
Mm.
So I loved it. I thought Creed 3 was phenomenal. I think it's one of the best trilogies we've had in a while. And I just had a great time. Do you have any negatives?
Only slightly. While I did like Michael B. Jordan's directing here, especially for it being his first time, I didn't find the pacing to be as well done as the other two movies had. I felt like at times it was just um like too slow in one scene and then too fast in another, to where I wasn't really getting quite the build up towards the climax that I was really hoping to get. Although the acting from Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan did do a really good job at winning it over for me, but I just felt like there was pacing issues, to where one, it kind of made the movie too long, but also that it just didn't give me that built up anticipation that I was quite wanting to get, maybe similarly to Creed 1 and Creed 2, which I think did better jobs at that. Um, and I could see there being some people, not myself, but who are missing Sylvester Stallone in this movie, and I could feel it to a bit of an extent, to where he definitely, I mean, for one thing, he's Rocky, like he started this whole thing, but to where you miss that like inspiration that Sylvester Stallone always brought to these Creed movies, and for the character of Creed specifically, and it didn't bother me too much because I was fine with that departure to have it still continue Creed's story. And I'm sure, between some behind the scenes stuff with like the studio and him, and on top of um, maybe just story wise, it didn't make sense for him to be in the movie, whatever you want to say. I wasn't too bothered by it, but I could see there being diehard Creed and Rocky fans to where they're really missing that element here.
For those who don't know about the drama why Sylvester Stallone isn't in here, he's been very vocal about it. So there is a producer that was part of the original Rocky movie that, back then, when you are signing over and making this movie, when Sylvester Stallone wrote the script and wanted to act it and everything, the rights went to him. Back then it was, the rights go right to me. Like,
The
so this
producer.
guy owns the rights. Yeah, this producer,
Mm,
but that's not the case really anymore. There are people who can hold on to their IPs when we look at like John Krasinski in A Quiet Place kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But,
sure.
um, but he doesn't own the rights. And he got really upset when they announced they were going to do this like Drago spin-off show, apparently on HBO Max. They were going to do all this stuff. And he was like, I've got a couple ideas I think would be really great for Rocky and for me to continue. And I saw in an interview, he said he read the script. He said he would, have loved to have been involved, but as long as that producer is still making Rocky movies and is still there, he will not come back. He said that he would come back for a Creed 4 if the producer wasn't there. He'd come back happily. That he loves Michael B. Jordan. Um, and that when he read the script for Creed 3, he was like, this script does read a little bit more towards just being a Creed story. I do think that is him being just polite, because I think there is a lot of room for Rocky here. And as somebody who does love the Rocky franchise, I did miss him. There were scenes where it was
Mm,
like, where he is down on his luck and he's losing everything. And it's like, It's like, how are we not talking about Rocky? Rocky is mentioned once in the entire movie, and he should have been mentioned much more throughout, especially after I just rewatched the first Creed just the other day, and
Yeah.
how important Rocky is to Adonis. Like he should have been a part of this movie. Was the movie really good without him? Yes, but it needed him, and it had basically everybody else. I mean, the guy he fights in the first movie's in this movie. The guy he fights in the second movie's in this movie. Drago's in it briefly. Like, everybody's kind of in it, and Rocky needed to be in it. It was a bummer. And that is my biggest complaint as a negative, is I wish Rocky was in it. I think Michael B. Jordan's direction was really good. I do think it was probably the weakest part of the movie, but again, everything else was phenomenal. And at the end, he directs the heck out of the movie. They take some spins and focuses that I really enjoyed for his character. I do think this is the end of the Creed franchise, though. I do not see them doing a Creed 4, but you never know. I mean, they made like 7 Rocky movies, so
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
6 Rocky movies. But
We'll see about that.
so, any other thoughts from you, sir?
No, I'm glad that it had a great opening weekend. We're filming this after seeing that it
Mm-hmm.
grossed nearly 60 million domestically. I just like
Sweet.
seeing people go support just really good movies, but especially with this movie because it's like the highest grossing compared to the other two. So clearly there was something
Wow.
about this movie that people were very excited about, and I'm happy to see that. So if you haven't seen it, come join us. It'll be a lot of fun at the theater for you.
Yeah, and I think Michael B. Jordan kind of taking off as becoming basically a superstar is really, really helped, because even the first Creed, that I think is what kind of catapulted him into the next level, and then he gets
Sure.
Killmonger and all these different roles, and Creed 2, and
Jonathan Major now
um,
probably plays a
yeah,
role.
and Jonathan
Yeah.
Majors too. I mean, the man from Lovecraft County got a chance with Marvel, blows it away in Loki. Now he's in Creed. I mean, he is great, and I hope to continue to see him more. Obviously, Tessa, our girl, come on, she's incredible.
Yeah,
But
whole cast was very good for sure.
she was amazing. Guys, what do you think of Creed 3? Comment below, let us know. I'm gonna like, subscribe, share. Thank you, patrons. Go check everything out on the channel. Stuff is coming now that the tech's back and working. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.